Hey, what's up? Here we are, another night, peaceful night, and just wanted to talk a little bit about so how is this change gonna happen? How is the world gonna change? And how is culture gonna change? The only way the world is gonna change is through culture experiencing a significant shift. But what has to change within culture is basically the belief system, because everything stems from what you believe in. That's where your consciousness stems from. If you have a very limiting belief system, one of survival, one of you think there's a lot of evil in the world, a lot of fear, a lot of you're always struggling, you're always competing against other people, always against. It's a limiting belief system, and it limits you in your personal life, and it limits the culture as a whole. And everything stems. It's the seed. It's the seed where everything stems from. Is the belief system of a culture, and we're stuck in the good versus evil. Let's get rid of evil, and then good will prevail. We're stuck in that culture. We're stuck in that duality. Where we can fight evil with evil. We're stuck in that. And so how do we, to change the culture, you're going to have to change that belief system to the belief system of, the founders of all the major religions. The purest ideology, that it's kind of like the undercurrent, the source of where all this comes from, and that is, that we're all one, that the subconscious, we are a subconscious whole as a human family, and then moving beyond that, animals, plants, everything in nature, right? But there's a subconscious connection of love, of unconditional love, and we're all connected. We're all one, and so that is, once we switch that belief system, then things are going to start changing. You can't fight evil with evil, because if you're part of something and you defeat that other something, that is you. You can't defeat yourself. So it's a very simple idea, and that's that seed. Once we change that seed around, once we change the seed towards, you can't fight evil with evil, you can't, violence is not going to do anything, and the unconditionality of your love towards everything, not just your loved ones, not just people surrounding you and your own culture, but towards everything. At least your belief system. At least once you change your belief system to know that these things are true. And you have to believe first. See, that's the trick of all this. It's such a tricky thing, because you can't experience it unless you believe it. It's not the other way around. It's not like you'll experience it and then you believe it. First you have to believe it, and then you'll experience it. It's the magic of faith. And so you have to take that jump into the belief system, into this belief system. And it's just gonna have to be that way. So that's the way it's gonna change, is once we make that switch in our belief system. Even if our actions don't necessarily transform right away, but as long as our belief system changes, we make that change in our belief system, everything's going to start changing in our own lives. Our actions, our knowledge is going to be expanding. Everything's going to start changing. Our consciousness is developing because we no longer have all those barriers in front of us. We don't have the fear. We don't have the limiting, conditions. We don't have the struggle. We don't have the, all of these old beliefs that would limit us. Now we're open. The flower's opening. And then everything starts changing. And the more you believe that these things are true, the more things will start changing. And so I invite you to take that jump. Because there's a lot of people, I just see a lot of ignorance in religion. And what, it's just especially, I live in a Christian nation, so I see it more in Christianity, but I'm sure it's prevalent in all religions, the fact that people are follow Christ, let's say. Yes, I follow Jesus, but what does that mean? What does that mean? What is the ideology behind Jesus? Is it, not have premarital sex, be very moralistic, don't curse, don't drink, or if you're Catholic, what does it mean? What does it mean to follow Jesus? What does it mean? And the core is basically that. It's unconditional love. Love your enemies is something clear. And that's obviously a result of us all being one. On a subconscious level, we're all one. We're all united. We're all one. Thus, you must love everything conditionally. We're all part of each other. So once we make that shift, it's that ideology, though, that you have to embrace. It's not a figure. It's not Jesus. It's not some God that you're speaking to, that you put your faith into. Now we know that this subconscious whole has an intelligence, and it lives within all of us, and it speaks to us, and it's as real as anything. But that subconscious whole is the spirit of love. That's what love is. That's what God is. And so the more you're within that spirit, the more you can speak to it, and it can speak to you. If you just believe in Jesus, but you're not in the spirit of love, then you're not in Jesus. It's just that is Jesus, or that is God, or that is any deity you want. So the foundation is love. The foundation. That's where everything stems from. That's the energy that bounds everything together. That's the energy in the rock, the liveliness in the plant, everything that makes you. Why is my body, the heart pumping, the blood flowing, the mind racing at 1,000 miles an hour? It's the consciousness within this body, which is pure love. That's what it is. That's the foundation, that's the seed. And so when we arrive at that truth in our belief system, when we truly arrive at that truth that only love exists, everything around you is only love. When we arrive at that belief system, then things change. And so when we start to impart this knowledge, I think things will start changing. I know things will start changing, because that's how it's supposed to happen. So there's nothing wrong to be a Jesus follower, but if you're a Jesus follower and not a love follower, there's really no point to it. You can be a follower of X, Y, 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 Z planet, and if that implies unconditional love, then you're in the right place. Doesn't really matter what deity you believe in. It just matters what does that mean. And if that does mean love towards all things, towards all beings, then you're in the right place. So let's try and stay there. Let's try and give of ourselves. Let's try and believe. First believe. Take that jump. Just take the jump, man. Just take it. Just try it. Like the diet. Just try it. Like a pair of jeans. Just try them on. So take the jump. Don't be afraid to change your core belief systems, which is like what's keeping you from experiencing great things. Let it go. Let those go. And a shout out to all my homies. Good night, y'all.